Okay, time to bring our judges back to the stage and announce the winners of the new Beverage Showdown. Come on up. Before we do that, I want to do a quick housekeeping note. For those of you that are interested in coming to our event next year, we're going to show you some dates for our upcoming events. December 2016, it's going to be in New York City, June 14th and 15th. And next year, it's going to be back here in Santa Monica on December 5th and 6th. You'll have an opportunity to sign up for those events after the show today. So let's turn to the judges who deliberated for quite some time and came up with a winner. But before we do that, before we announce the winner, let's talk about how you came to your decision. Dinah, I heard you guys talk a little bit about presentation style and how that's something that was key to your vote, I guess, so to speak, and what they need to do to improve on that in the future. Talk a little about your thoughts on that.
Sure. I think from the position I come from, I've learned in the last 3 years how important your presentation has to be. Not obviously just to this showdown, but like every person you speak with, at every opportunity you have, in the store, with the distributor, even the people that sell your product. The more people you add to your team, that's your voice getting diluted. And you just have to be so strong and passionate and tenacious. And I didn't totally get today in a lot of the presentations that just feeling that there was that hunger and tenacity, and I just don't be afraid to just step into that. Because even if you say something stupid, I say stupid things all the time. It's better to do that and be passionate and stand behind your brand than to, to be a little bit like less confident about it. So that would be my one piece of advice for everybody, is really like step that up. That's what it's going to take to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Dwayne, there was a lot of talk about differentiation, especially for some of the brands that play in mature categories. Where do you see that, not necessarily in specific brands, but where do you see that on the package or in some of the presentations?
Yeah, we saw some, first, let me just say we saw some great brands, and the fact that you made it to the finalists, there should be a round of applause for that. Not right now, we'll wait till that. So yeah, the different, and particularly some of the brands that were most resonant for me, there's room to do that, and there's real meaningful points of differentiation that can be really, forward and on the principal display panel and should be shouted. So yeah, there's, if there's 10 things that you need to make sure you've got done, that is, in the top 3 for me.
Okay. Matt, you talked about retail pricing for some of the products that are out there, and I just talked about it with Kelly on stage. If you're going up against some established brands, you have to be realistic about your retail pricing. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's so many brands out there. There's 5,000, 6,000 trademarks in the beverage space, all fighting for shelf space. And consumers are making choices constantly. And so package size to get the right type of trial and the right price is always critical. And so when you've got brands like that we saw, a number that we saw today that are playing against competitors, as you mentioned, that are very strong, they're going to have to figure out a way of how do they get someone to choose their brand versus something else. The easiest way, and I'm not saying it's the most sustainable, is through price. Suja, I think, the reason that one did so well and jumped out is because they were able to bring their price down from $8, $9 a bottle and find a way for people to come into the category that was new and confusing to some people. And so I think that's absolutely critical, is that if you can't bring the price down on an existing package, then you got to have a smaller package that allows you to have people come in and try your brand.
Mm-hmm. And we saw some pretty innovative ingredients, but they were infused into beverages where taste, once again, is a very, very important component of the brand, maybe the most important part. John, did everything taste good to you? And in terms of what brands should do, and maybe going back to the drawing board and some of their formulations, what do they need to do differently?
Taste is always subjective. I guess I'm your taste guy today.
You've tasted millions of beverages at this point.
And I think, look, it's always a challenge with new ideas to sort of create familiar taste, but still, show that it's something new and has its own, reason for being. And, I think some of the brands did a good job of finding that balance. Others have a little more work to do. And, I don't know. It's something I definitely don't envy. I don't know how you, sort of figure out, like, that right, sweet spot sometimes. And, I think it was something we talked about when, Dinah was up here with Health Aid. It's like, we were talking about something that, basically is known to taste like vinegar, and obviously that can prove to succeed. So I think today, again, definitely tasted some stuff that was, unique and different, definitely some nice stuff, so.
Great. Greg, you get the last word. Let's talk about branding and design. And that was also something that was talked about quite a bit during the deliberation. Where did brands succeed? Where did brands kind of fall off?
Some of it is selecting a strong brand name. Because I think in the early days, where packaging is your single greatest advertising vehicle, you want that brand to be really obvious and disruptive, and then clarifying what is your promise that you're making to the world as big as day on the front, and maybe some key attributes. That's where you win. How you win when you don't do that. When you're in this category, 5,000 trademarks, sea of beverages. When you don't have those things all trued up, you will recede into the background, and I just don't think people are going to be spending the time right now to really root out what is the specialness about your brand if you're not overtly communicating, especially since so many emerging brands and startups are launching now with their poop together, that shit together. It's like Thanks. Before, I remember like 10 years ago, you could just do a white label that just said, acai berry, and it would be fine. And but now you can't do that. Too many sophisticated folks out there.
Brand name, packaging, all very important, all part of the key equation to success.
And I would add that promise statement on there. You don't see that very often. Go Raw is unjunked food. And that makes it obvious for people to say, this is healthy junk food. Awesome.
Great. All right, it's time to announce the winners. Let's first introduce or announce the winner of the audience vote. The audience favorite is 1821 Bitters. Congratulations. All right, and the winner of the title of New Beverage Showdown 10 winner and $10,000 in cash and prizes is Malk. Malk wins it all. August Vega, please come to the stage. You got your big check.
Nice.
Just carry her own check.
Come on up. You got it. Usually we have the check ready here, but you got to bring it on stage with you. There you go. Come on up. Yes. There it is. Malk is the big winner. I know the judges want to congratulate you on the win too. So I can take this for you right now. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. And that concludes our BevNet Live Winter 2015 conference. Thank you all so much for coming. Hope to see you in New York.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Nice job.